Welcome to the Real Estate Majlis podcast, where we bring you the latest insights and trends in the ever-changing world of real estate. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a first-time buyer, or simply interested in the world of property, our podcast is designed to provide you with valuable information and expert advice.
From discussing the latest market trends and investment strategies to exploring innovative technologies and design trends, myself, Dr. Mahmoud Alburai, and my co-host, Cecilia will share our knowledge and expertise to help you make an informed decision in the real estate industry. So please sit back, relax, and join us as we explore the fascinating world of real estate on our podcast. This episode is powered by ThinkProp, the leading Abu Dhabi-based real estate training institute. Whether you're starting your career in real estate or looking to take it to the next level, ThinkProp offers a diverse range of courses certified by the Department of Municipalities and Transport, DMT of Abu Dhabi, with both in-person and online classes available at affordable prices. ThinkProp provides flexibility to fit your schedule. This institute is dedicated to developing a stronger real estate industry through knowledge and expertise. Visit ThinkProp website at thinkprop.ae to learn more.
So I can't believe today is our first episode of the Real Estate Majlis podcast. Are you excited, Mahmoud?
Well, amazing. You know, we were talking about this for a while because we both share love for helping people. So we always see our colleagues and friends struggling with some decisions in real estate. And we see, oh, let's do something that benefits everyone.
Yeah, and we had so many coffee meetings and a lot of cake.
Exactly.
To discuss, what's happening in the industry. So let's make sure that other people can hear and probably benefit as well.
Exactly. Especially nowadays, Cecilia, don't you agree where the market is too hot and everyone is really excited about how we recovered fast from COVID and things really now are so nice and so positive?
It's incredible, actually. I mean, when you think about what happened post-COVID, how the government managed COVID compared to other countries, I think there was really an eye-opener for a lot of international investors. And the UAE now consolidated its mark, really, in the international scene. So there are so many reasons why the UAE now represents not just a steady, but, a comfortable place to live. I think recently there was a article saying that by probably the 6th or 7th time the year was voted the safest place in the world. I think Abu Dhabi was ranked number 1. I mean, this is worth every money, right? There's no point if you have wealth and you have to worry about crime, you have to worry about your family. So I think this is probably one of the biggest reasons that people are moving here. And I've been here for 20 years now, and I remember sitting with friends where they would come to the UAE and they would stay for a period of time and they want to come back home. Now the conversation is different. People want to stay long term. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually, when you ask them, what is home for you? Actually, UAE in Dubai became a home for 217 nationalities. And
217?
Exactly.
Wow.
And this is in the system of the government, 217 nationalities. If you go to the UN system, you find 194 countries recognized by the UN, whereas we have even more people from different nationalities who are living here. And I still remember 2008 when everyone was saying this is bubble and bubble is bursting and so on. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid at that time said, we're building a country, we're building a location that will be the best on earth for living. And nowadays, we see the quality even of people moving to the UAE are long-term investors, end users. It's not speculators. It's not people who come in and leave within a week or a month and look for quick gain.
Just want to flip the property and get out. Yep.
And that's good, the news for the industry, that this market is more sustainable, more stable than any time before. But people always say, why UAE at this point of time? I think the way that the government handled COVID
Absolutely.
was a history and actually made a big difference. And the ethics of care and the leadership of care. I remember Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the president of the country, the first word he said and the first sentence he said, "Don't worry, la tshilun ham. We'll take care of everyone. And everyone is living in this country we will take care of." So this actually created a lot of trust for people and businesses.
Absolutely, yeah. Businesses is another major point, right? We do have the introduction, we did have early this year of corporate tax, but it's nominal. And at the same time, you have obviously VAT as a service tax, but in general, you don't have a lot of taxes that other countries would have. The easy to do business setup business is amazing. You're 100% foreign ownership now, pretty much across all mainland as well. So, a lot of people are migrating the business, and then you have the whole golden visa and the visa aspect that has also allowed people to take a long-term view. So the gold visa and the visa has evolved to, from 2 years now to 5 to 10, and obviously this is giving people a lot of confidence.
Well, actually, the innovation in policy making itself was very clear in COVID. So as you said, the residency now with real estate investment, you can get 3 or 5 or even 10 years of residency. So that's actually created a lot of interest from foreign investors. It's not just owning a piece of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but also you can be a normal resident with a bank account. You can take your kids to school. You can take care of, live a very happy life here. Plus, the licensing itself and the law that says that foreigners can own 100%. No need for a GCC sponsor for you. So all these changes actually made this real estate investment and even renting as a different experience. People now having a more of relaxed, kind of approach to investment, because if they buy, they will have residency. They can look for a job, or they can have their own jobs. They can create their own business without a need to have a sponsor.
And the visa related to real estate, remind me, is based on a certain value of equity you have on the property,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So there are different values and different terms that the visa will be associated.
Yes, I think the minimum, as far as I know, 750,000 dirham of investment in any real estate will get you a 3 years.
Visa, yeah.
Yes. And if you want the 10 years, then we're talking about 2 million
2 million,
dirhams.
yeah. And this is just Dubai or in Abu Dhabi as well?
In the whole UAE, this is a
Right.
federal law.
Okay.
So now on Abu Dhabi, Dubai are very active, because we see, mashallah, last year we have 500 billion dirhams of transactions only in Dubai.
Yeah.
And almost 100 billion in Abu Dhabi. So what we're talking about is really remarkable numbers. And this definitely golden visa was a key in this. A lot of people actually, I saw some numbers recently saying that 40% of investors are non-residents. So that gives them an opportunity to become residents.
And actually, this has been a trend for a while, right? I think every time I would see reports where, what are the top nationalities investing, we always maintain this 50% of non-residents, which eventually they become residents by acquiring visas and setting up and all the flexibility and so on. So there are many aspects why, we talk about the post-COVID, but I think there's another shift that I have noticed over the last 20 years, which is the universities and the studying. A lot of people in the past would say, yes, I'm living here, but my kids are studying here, but when they finish school, I want them to go abroad to study. I'm seeing a big shift on this. People saying, we don't want to send them anymore. We have world-class institutions, universities. You got Sorbonne, NYU in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai as well. There's new brands of well-known colleges. So what do you think about that?
Well, as a professor,
yes, you also you're also teaching one of them. So
I teach at the American University in Dubai. Actually, it's the same university that I went for my bachelor. So the quality of education we have in the UAE is one of the top. And the reason for that is that especially the business students and engineering students, they get opportunities to see things on ground. So we have this practice where we have the academia and the industry working hand in hand. So our business students, the day they graduate, they are ready to work. They're ready in terms of skills, in terms of internship, in terms of interaction with industry. So a lot of people actually, and I'm teaching students from all over. Like I have students from the US, from UK, from Europe, from Asia, from the Arab region. They're leaving their home, coming here, because they say it's not about the education. It's also about the job. We know that Dubai and Abu Dhabi, you can find a job easily. So now, quality of life, when we talk about it, it's not just about home. It's about the education. It's about health. It's about
Absolutely.
the safety. You mentioned safety actually. Nowadays, in such hot global politics, safety is a commodity
Number
that
one.
you cannot price.
No price.
Yeah, no price for safety. And a lot of people, if you read the news, we see some people recently came to Dubai and UAE, and they say reason number one was safety. So, alhamdulillah, we hope that safety and peace continue to be one of the pillars of this country.
And I want to, as we're talking about booming market, we have to talk about prices, right?
Yeah.
Prices continue to go up, perhaps making people a little bit uncomfortable, especially at the top end of the market, the luxury market, seeing transactions never witnessed before. Now, if we take this point and we move into the rental market, obviously rentals... Different story. Rentals are also going up because with all the new people moving here, there's perhaps not enough inventory, especially in certain communities. I mean, there are certain communities that obviously you can see the price is a bit increased a bit quicker than other communities. We got a lot of tenants in distress right now, having to move, getting notices, evictions.
I receive calls every day.
Really?
From landlords and tenants. And I always try to understand which position they're coming from to help them. Cecilia, you agree. I mean, one of the issues we always face is that a lot of people don't read laws and regulations.
Yeah.
And they just take actions without that. So I think for rentals in Abu Dhabi, it's more clear in terms of how much you can increase.
Which is 5%.
Yeah, 5% max increase. But also landlords can evict in residential with 2 months notice, in commercial with 3 months notice. This is very clear. In Dubai, there's some areas that landlords and tenants need to be very careful. And there are two laws they have to go through. And we will help them in this podcast.
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
Law number 26 of 2007 and number 33 of 2008. Two laws important. If we don't understand what our rights and what our responsibilities, we will always face issues and challenges. This market is booming. Before COVID, we had a few years of slowdown. So a lot of contracts were on the low end.
Correct, yeah.
Landlords were barely looking for paying their mortgage at that time.
Sure.
So they were not really in a good position.
Sure.
When the market started to go up, a lot of people coming, more pressure on the market, landlords thought this is a good opportunity for them to get higher.
Yeah, naturally, right? If you own an asset, you want to maximize the opportunity, right?
Exactly. So they thought about how to do it. They talked to tenants. Can we increase? No, the max you can increase is 1, 2, 3.
So the tenants typically they'll go to the calculator, right?
Yes.
On the railroad website, and they will see the max and the minimum, and
the max is 20%.
Make a judgment based on that. However,
I mean, there is a rent calculator. You go there, you put your apartment or villa or whatever the type, and you say how much your rent and what's the expiry date of the contract. And then the calculator itself will say 0% increase or 5 or 10 or 15 or maximum of 20. So this is what you communicate back to your landlord and say, hi, I checked and this is how much I will pay.
Right.
However, there's some areas that landlords feel 5 and 10, 15% is still too low. They see their neighbors renting out for 200,000 and they're renting out for 100,000, half of that. So they don't want a higher price. So they go to the RDC route, which is the rental dispute center, and they ask for something called market value or market rent. And this is where the challenge that can come in. But overall, we see, yes, as much as there is a demand, but also there is a supply. We see a lot of new properties. Usually UAE, as we know, it's more of a market-driven economy. We let the market correct. We have supply, we have demand, and we usually try not to involve and interfere. Usually this is what we see in the government side.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, I mean, definitely we need to dig deeply into rental. There are a lot of eviction notice nowadays. I know a lot of people who have a contract that starts today, and on the same day they get eviction. And as
After
you know,
1 year,
yeah, the eviction in Dubai, usually you have to give 1 year notice, and in 3 scenarios as per law. You want to use it for own use, you want to sell or desire to sell, and the third one, you want to do a major maintenance,
right.
and the tenant has to be out in this period.
But typically people use the I want to sell as their go-to reason,
Exactly.
right?
That's the easiest, I want to sell, and because the law says desire to sell, it doesn't say to sell.
You have to sell, so you have an intention.
Yeah.
So just with an intention, you are allowed to give someone a notice to vacate after 1 year.
Yes. But there is also another complexity that we will discuss with lawyers hopefully next episode, is that you sell it as a landlord, then a new landlord come in, he wants to live there, then does he have to wait for this 1 year giving to you before, or he has to give another new year? There have been different rulings on this. So the judge usually look at scenarios, look at intentions, look at, I mean, you want to evict for own personal use and you have 10 other villas, maybe you can use another villa. Why this villa? So they may not, you may see some ruling saying, no, we don't accept saying that you're going to use it for own use because you have other properties that you can use.
That is very interesting because that opens a different level of fact finding. So it's not so black and white, and people, if they feel there are laws both ways, they can go and use the system to rule fairly on their benefit. That's super interesting.
But I want to challenge things, and I want your opinion.
Okay.
I always tell my friends, I met a lot of expats, and I always ask them, how long have you been here? 20, 30 years. Tenant or landlord? Tenant. Why? Oh, because every year we say this is maybe our last year, and then it's 20
That's
years.
so true.
If you do calculations,
it makes no sense. You should buy.
You should buy.
100%, yeah.
And by the way, if you look at Abu Dhabi and Dubai, the affordable segment, the prices did not grow as much as the luxury. The luxury went very high, but you still find...
Because there's not many, so it's.
And developers were very generous, to tell you the truth, in terms of payment plan for 5 years and 10 years, even without banking system. So I think it's a good time for tenants who are sure about their sustainability and they're going to be for a long time here to rethink their decision, calculate it. Does it make more sense to be a tenant?
Absolutely.
And move all the time, an eviction from here to there, move your kids from this school to that school, from this place to that place.
The time and the effort and the money, actually, it's not simple.
Emotional stress. I think that's something that a lot of people really need to think about from the beginning.
So we definitely need to do an episode just on mortgages and get the calculations clear, understand what the fees that are associated, so people feel maybe more comfortable to take the first step. Because you're right, obviously everybody has his own circumstance, but if you're living here for 20 years, you should be owning your property by now.
Yeah.
Because you're paying somebody else's mortgage, you should be paying yours.
I like people who think about their future in a more of long term rather than. I mean, yes, we always worry about jobs and worry about stuff.
Of course, security.
Yeah. But at the same time, when there is a crisis, it's the best time to buy. People say, oh, there's a crisis. No, the market is bad. No, actually, it's good for you to buy. Maybe bad for sellers. So I always say, sell when everyone buy and buy when everyone sells.
The old saying, Mr. Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
For sure. So that brings me to another point, which is recently the land department has announced the implementation of QR codes for listings. Now, this is very close to my heart because I am sure people are sick and tired to go online go to portals or, websites, find what they think to be the best property available, and get on the call, and the property is gone. It just got rented 5 minutes ago. There's always a story behind each and every listing. And even though there's a lot of effort, with good intention, from the portals to make the listings verified and in different, different words they use to, provide the consumer the idea that, wow, that listing is the real unique and true listing. How the QR code is going to resolve this problem?
Good question. We hope that it will, actually. If we just take one step backward and think about our buying behavior. Nowadays, the first thing we do when we want to buy something, we go to online and we check on prices,
yes.
right? Yeah. Because that gives you an indication.
And in fact, funny fact, I was reading the other day, NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, they basically say that a buyer, before they actually get in touch with the broker, they take 2 weeks of researching. 2 weeks, exactly. Right?
Which is
natural.
Brings us back to the question is that the knowledge and the transparency now, it's important because customers, they go there and they say, okay, I want to buy a property in this place. What is the minimum?
Yes.
And you will be shocked, and we still see it, that the average is 1 million, and there's few brokers who are advertising at 700 or 600. The bad thing about it gives a bad indication about the market.
Yeah.
It also confuses the landlord, the seller and buyers.
Yeah.
The seller, he wants to sell, but someone will say, oh, but actually it's listed somewhere 700.
Exactly.
So the idea of dealing with fake listing have been actually, I know the government here in Dubai and Abu Dhabi have been working very hard on making sure we don't have any of these fake listings. So there have been a lot of measures. I mean, Dubai recently also said 1 property maximum to be listed by 3 brokers. We've seen properties listed by 200 brokers. The same property.
Yep.
Which is not good.
And you see 20 times the property online,
Exactly.
It's like, what's the point?
And the second thing now with the QR code, what's a good thing about it is that customer will go and scan it. It will give him what DLD has information. DLD will tell you that this property it's a flat or apartment in that tower.
Right.
Although maybe some brokers used before to take this permission number on a apartment and use it for villa, for land. No, now it tells you this is what
so it's unique.
Permission, unique. This is how much is the listing. This is the broker who was giving the green light to list it from the owner.
Okay. So also validate the broker.
Yes.
Okay.
Based on Form A.
Right.
Now we have in Dubai Form A.
Yeah.
B,
the listing, the agreement where the seller gives the broker the authority to market the property.
Which is now everything is linked. The forms are linked to the QR.
Okay.
And also the government asked the portals to have report and a listing, any listing that you as an investor or as someone who is looking into portals see that there is something wrong about it, you can report it.
Right.
So the whole idea is we want to make sure that the stock on these portals will be the real stock, not inflated stock, not one property listed by 300 people. And you will see, there's so much supply. Actually, it's just 1 or 2 properties, but the way that they are advertised, it looks like 300 properties. So it will give a good indication on prices, on supply. It will make the life of seller and buyers easier for negotiation instead of giving wrong information about the market.
And for brokers is also good because, we are in a market that, again, there's an unprecedented numbers of real estate brokers registered throughout. I am not sure if all of them are able to deliver, the best service, or people just riding on the wave of the market demand. So this will definitely help for the ones who are really focused on delivering, best customer experience, and they're working hard, following the right processes, and and we'll definitely separate the ones that are just here for the short term.
As you know, the numbers we see is above 14,000 agents and just
companies, right? Registered companies.
Just talking about individual
Wow.
brokers, which is a big number. There are a lot of competition, but also there are so many opportunities.
Yes.
We always say ethics is a long-term competitive advantage. And a lot of brokers and companies know that they're not here for short-term. So the long-term means that we have to be transparent, we have to be professional, ethical, and also because they are the ambassadors of our market. And they give the first impression. A lot of investors who had bad experience with brokers are not investing anymore. They say, no, we don't want to buy. We don't want to go through brokers. We want to go direct. And there are a lot of movements actually and with the technology helping in that
absolutely,
actually, good brokers will stay, but bad brokers will be replaced by technology because people will trust technology more, trust transparency of technology, how fast it is to reach, and so on.
If you are in the service industry, if you're a broker, if you're not creating value, you're going to be out.
Yes, I agree. So let's hope that a QR will solve a lot of problems. And let's hope that portals will take even actions to make sure that
stronger actions,
they change their business model, because a lot of portals, their business models depend on how many transactions rather than the quality of transactions.
And they depend on the broker to removing the listing as well. I mean, they might have rented this afternoon the unit, but if they take 2 weeks to remove the listing, then creates a problem, right? I think more integration with the government would also allow for things to automatically get delisted. If the rental contract is done, which unit. So I think there's still a long way to make it all connected, but I think that's where the direction of travel is, right?
They're doing a good job. We know that the portals are working with the government on this linkage. So that will, as you said, if there's anything that was sold or rented out, to be removed directly. And actually, if it's removed, it should be also tell people it was sold at this price.
Yeah.
So with the Open Data Initiative, a lot of government data now are shared in the market. You can go and get a lot of information. Now with one fingerprint, you can know this property, this tower, for 1 bedroom in this tower, how much it was sold, how much it's rented out, if it's a renewed contract or it's a new rental contract. So there's so much information, and investors now, before making any decision, they should really look into these numbers.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Mahmoud, I'm so excited to finish our first episode.
Yeah.
It was such a great talk, and I think I look forward for the next episodes and start to bring some guests and go a bit more deep in certain aspects. But as always, it was a pleasure.
And I always say, we promise people who listen to this Majlis episode podcast that the knowledge they will get here will really make a big difference for them.
I hope so. That's our intention.
Or of their investors.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to the Real Estate Majlis podcast. We hope you found this episode informative and insightful. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to reach out to us.